Hey everyone, this video you're about to watch, or the audio for this video was recorded a long time ago. I never uploaded it because I was still working on my Star Wars channel and I just had other stuff going on. I never had a chance to edit this video or like the audio for this video. So this is an old recording back when Better Call Saul finished its final season. I'm working on a big video right now and I wanted to upload something like my goal is to upload at least once a week, and I don't want to upload like no longer than more than 8 days, and I don't have a video, so I thought why not just edit this review that I recorded a long time ago. It's been sitting on my computer. Just do a quick edit and just let them know my thoughts on Better Call Saul, the final season of Better Call Saul, and the show as a whole. I have been working on this big video and unfortunately it's not finished yet. I thought I would have finished the big video by now, but I have like work and other stuff in school going on, so sorry about that. I would love it if you would watch this video or not. It's up to you. Like the review for Better Call Saul. If you guys like this show. If you guys don't like this show, then it would be cool if you watch it anyway, but you probably don't have to. Just do whatever you want. I'm just letting you guys know that I do have a bigger video coming. This audio file has been sitting on my computer for months, and now it's finally going to be seen by the world. Yay. Keep in mind this was recorded months ago, back when Better Call Saul aired its finale. I hope you all enjoy the review. On to my past self reviewing Better Call Saul. So I just got done watching the Better Call Saul finale, the series finale, and I have some thoughts on the finale and the show as a whole. Spoilers for Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, El Camino, everything in the Breaking Bad universe, and with that all out of the way.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
This season was breathtaking. This entire show, in my opinion, is a masterpiece. I feel like this show is better than Breaking Bad, but both of them are in like my top 20 favorite shows of all time. And yes, this show is a masterpiece. I feel like this is like the best written, the best filmed show, best cinematography in any TV show I've ever seen. And it's not in my top 10 because my top 10, it's my personal opinion. Like my favorite shows. Like I like something specific about those shows, and I'll eventually make a list of my favorite shows of all time. But this is definitely in my top 20. Better Call Saul is probably the best written show I've ever seen. If I had to say what is the best made written show of all time, I would have to say it is Better Call Saul. What they do with this show is just incredible. And this final season was just amazing from beginning to end. There wasn't some bad parts. There were some slow parts that kind of knocked the season down a little bit. I'm going to be completely honest. This is not the best season ever. I think it had the highest highs ever and some of the best episodes of the entire series in this season. But I think season 5 was better than Better Call Saul season 6, just by a smidge. And I feel like that's because I felt like they could have executed the final episodes a bit better. But I think that the reason why season 6 isn't like completely even is I was looking some things up, and apparently they've had some behind the scenes issues like crazy, and obviously Bob Odenkirk did have a heart attack, which probably messed up some things as well. And thank God he's all right and he's doing great. But I'm sure that might have messed some things up too. And apparently the actress that played Lydia wasn't able to come back, and that kind of messed up the storyline and what their plans were going to be as well. Apparently they were going to explain the reasoning behind why Mike has a problem with her. I don't know how all that was going to work. So they had some issues with COVID, Bob Odenkirk's health issues, and they weren't able to get some actors. And also Bill Burr wasn't able to come back and reprise his role as well, and apparently they were trying to get him into the final season as well. So things didn't go to 100% plan, but at least we have a final season, and the ending is so well done. The writing of this show, the way things are pictured, like I remember specifically in the final episode when Saul, or Jimmy, because he becomes Jimmy again, which that's such a beautiful character arc from beginning to end. He has a redemption, but at the same time he doesn't. Like what he did was awful. He made, like he said, he made Heisenberg. If it wasn't for him, there would be no Heisenberg, and Heisenberg is the worst of the worst. And if it wasn't for him, there would be no him. there would be no Heisenberg if it wasn't for Saul. So obviously Saul has to pay the consequences to that for some degree, but he has a redemption. He becomes Jimmy McGill again by the end of the series, which is just beautiful. I don't think they could have done the finale even better. Well, I feel like they could have given him less years. Like, I think 20 years would have been okay, but 86 years, that's a lot. And they said they did kind of leave it ambiguous to say like he could get out earlier if he's on good behavior. But he doesn't end up with Kim in the end. And when you watch if you rewatch this whole series, because when you watch it from the beginning, you're not going to see this as a love story. But when you rewatch it from beginning to end, this is kind of a love story between Kim and Saul, or Kim and Jimmy, and how Jimmy just spirals out of control because of the things that happen to him. And it's so heartbreaking because he has so much potential. Saul is such a smart character. He's a smart person. The way he comes up with his schemes is brilliant, but he doesn't use that brilliance for good things. He uses it for the dumbest crap ever, and that's what's so frustrating about his character. But I feel like it's heartbreaking and it makes sense, and it's all done so well. I don't think I could even change anything because I'm just not that smart. They're like so smart with the writing, it's incredible. And back to what I was saying originally with, like, I remember a specific scene, I was like, wow, this is absolutely brilliant. When Saul, or like I said, when Jimmy is like confessing to everything that he was doing, he eventually brings up Chuck, and when he brings up Chuck, they show an image of the exit sign, and you can hear the electricity in the sign, like that specific exit sign sound, and that's just to remind us that this Chuck had this condition with the electricity thing, and it's just the way it's done. It's all done so well. The way how the images show so much into the scene and what's going on with the characters and what's going on with the setting. It's incredible. This show is incredible. Just thinking about it blows my mind how detailed and how great the writing is and how invested I am with these characters. And yes, I think it's better than Breaking Bad, honestly, by a smidge or a good amount in my opinion, because there's some things in Breaking Bad that does bother me. Like the way Hank found out about Walter, I think was kind of stupid and kind of derailed the season in my opinion. And also, I just think with Better Call Saul, I like the characters 1,000 times better. Well, not 1,000 times better. I like the characters much better. Like Walter, we're not supposed to like, but I don't like him. And I don't find his downfall to be like super tragic. And I think they could have done a better job of showing how bad of a person Walter White is. Like, instead of poisoning Brock to the point where he doesn't kill him, I think a way to really show Walter being unredeemable is if he flat out killed Brock by poisoning him. I'm just nitpicking, but I love Breaking Bad too. That's like top 20 as well. I just think they did a couple things that I just wasn't thrilled about, and I think things could have been written and done better. Also, we don't have a Skylar in Better Call Saul, and Kim and Saul's relationship is so powerful, so real. It's like they belong together. I've never seen two TV characters that just fit so perfect, and you liked seeing them together. Well, you don't like seeing them together because they're destructive for the people around them, but they fit. They're like neck and neck together. They're like bond. They have a bond. They're always going to be there for each other. They always have each other's back, and well, until like she breaks up with him and divorces his ass. But for the most part, they were together. They were perfect. I just love them together. It's so sad to see that they don't end up together, and it's sad that Saul wasn't able to turn things around. And if he had the right support system around him, if he had people that really believed in him, like Kim believed in him, Chuck is the main person that really needed to believe in Saul. And he needed to be the one to be like, my brother can change. And if he just supported Saul trying to fix things around and not be so like, he can't change. You can never change. And well, Jimmy did prove Chuck wrong in the end. So suck it, Chuck. Jimmy did end up changing in the end, and that's like incredible. He proved his brother wrong, and I really love that. I love Jimmy's ending. I really do. It's just such a perfect ending. I think it's a better ending than Breaking Bad, because I was kind of like, okay, it was good, the Breaking Bad ending. It wasn't great like this. This was a great ending, and I'm probably being very unpopular with my opinions right now, but that's how I feel. I feel Better Call Saul was a goddamn perfect, nearly perfect, because I think he could have been a little lighter on the sentence, like 20 to 30 years. But yeah, that was perfect. Also, Better Call Saul has my favorite character in the whole Breaking Bad universe, and that is Nacho. I freaking wow, Nacho is such a great character. He's like the only one that I think that had a moral compass, and it's such a shame that he got dragged into Gustavo and the Salamanca's mess, and he didn't want to be. And he has a heart. He wanted to get out. He wanted to protect his father, and the way he went out was badass and sad at the same time. I was so heartbroken when Nacho died. I screamed at my TV like, God damn it, because I really thought he was going to survive this series, to be honest with you. And I think it would have been a perfect opportunity to give Nacho a spin-off show. I think a spin-off show during Breaking Bad. That's what I really, really wanted to see. I would have watched that, and I bet that would have been great. And I think that could have been one last show to send this universe off. But now at this point, there's nothing to really do unless you want to make a show about Kim, which, no, what are you going to do with that? Or you can make a show like a Better Call Saul movie that about Saul in jail, which I don't think could be that interesting, to be honest with you. But Nacho is incredible. The way he went out was goosebumps, and it was sad at the same time. And and speaking of the characters, I love the characters in this series much more. I hate to compare it to Breaking Bad, but I do. The best characters from Breaking Bad, we get more exploration of their characters, like Mike and Gustavo, who I think are the standouts of Breaking Bad in many ways. I feel like Mike didn't get a lot to do in this final season, but I still liked what they did with him in this final season. And throughout this whole entire show, I think they did a great job with his character, his stuff with his son, and how he was saving up all this is like for money for his granddaughter, and how make sure they're okay, and all that was it was really well done. They did a great job with Mike throughout this series. I think he had at the end of the day, we know how his character ends in Breaking Bad, and it's very, very sad. Freaking Walter, man, I don't like Walter White. Anyway, but we're not supposed to like him. I wish Mike didn't die, but almost every character in the Breaking Bad universe has to have a tragic ending, except for Jesse, who gets a pretty good ending in the El Camino movie, which is also really good. It's a good movie as well. It's not great, but I think it's a good movie, and I like that we get to actually see an ending for Jesse and get to see a redemption arc for him as well. Yeah, and back to Better Call Saul. I like that we get to explore Mike, and we also got to explore more of Gustavo, which is just what they do with him in this show is so great. We get to see more like of the psyche of Gustavo, more of into his plan at the beginning of the laundry shop, and like what's him creating the meth lab. And the final scene we ever get to see from Gustavo was very interesting, with him having the potential to go out with somebody, but he turns it down because he's just so vengeful, and he's pinpoint on getting to the Salamancas and getting his revenge, and it's sad that Gustavo is he's this person, and it gets worse from here. And he's another one where you don't feel sympathy, you feel empathy, I guess you could say, because it's just they took someone that he loved, and it created this monster, and it's just a monster that's just full of destruction, and he's like kind of sociopathic, and he just gets worse in Breaking Bad. And it's like he's not even human after this point, you could say. But this is the best we've seen from Gustavo, in my opinion, in the Better Call Saul show. I love what they do with Gustavo. And we have probably the second best villain in the whole Breaking Bad universe introduced into this show, Lalo Salamanca. Oh my God, wow, what an incredible character. He kind of freaked me out, because he was like, hey, how are you? I'm gonna slit your throat now. Okay, now I'm gonna steal your clothes. And it's just like, he just like doesn't care, but he does it with a smile on his face, and he's not like the Joker. He's just a weirdo. I really liked Lalo. The way he went out, I'm kind of, I think that's another thing could have been done a little bit better. But man, Lalo Salamanca, I like a lot. I liked him a lot. Probably one of the best Breaking Bad villains ever. The second best in my opinion. Now he's not like crazy like Tuco, but he's like a different kind of crazy, and that's kind of crazy in itself. Salamanca's got like weird ass issues. They all need some serious therapy because they're all so freaking whack. But yeah, I think I'm gonna rewatch this show in a couple months because oh my god, this show is just perfection. And I'm probably gonna watch Breaking Bad afterwards, and I'm gonna watch El Camino to finish off the universe because I think this is it. Unless they're gonna do a Gustavo show, that's another possibility I could see happening as well. I just if you're gonna do a young Gustavo show, then you're going to have to recast Giancarlo Esposito, which would be terrible. No one could play that character but him, unless they deepfake him the whole time. I think he's pretty old now too, so I don't even think he would want to play this character for another 5 more years. I think Better Call Saul feels like a season 6 through 11 of Breaking Bad. A young Gustavo show would feel so disconnected. It just I wouldn't want to see that unless it would tie into Better Call Saul, which that would be weird. So you have like a prequel to a prequel, and that's like it'd get too complicated. If anything, I'd wanted to see a Nacho show, which wouldn't happen now. I think they could do one more movie. What could that movie be? I'm not really 100% sure at the moment. But yeah, I think this universe is over with this episode, and it was one hell of an episode, one hell of a finale. Just the character arc of Jimmy McGill to Saul Goodman to Gene, man, this show is a masterpiece. I'm sure many would disagree and say Breaking Bad's better. I think the writers from Breaking Bad have just gotten better with their craft, and now they've made Better Call Saul, which is just nearly perfect. Obviously, I don't think something could be 100% perfect except for Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, this was just incredible, and it's really rare for a prequel to be better than the original series. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. I know there's some out there that say Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad, but there's like a good amount of people that say that too, and that's really rare for a prequel to be. And the fact that the writers pulled that off is just like bravo to them. Like seriously. Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, they are just wow. They're just really good at what they do. Like Better Call Saul is how you do a prequel, and for me, there's not many prequel movies or shows that I really like. I think most of the time prequels just do disservice to the originals. That's how I've experienced prequels. But this is how you do a prequel, and it stands on its own too. That's another problem with prequels. A lot of time I feel like it doesn't stand on its own, and that's such a negative to the prequel itself. It is helpful if you watch Breaking Bad, especially near the end, but you really don't have to, and I think you can enjoy this on its own, and that's incredible. All right, to finally give this show a rating, I'm gonna have to give this rating this season and this whole entire series as a whole. Well, I'm gonna give the final season a rating first. I'll give it like a 100%. I think what else am I supposed to say? Maybe like a 99% because it could have been done things a little better. But that's me nitpicking. The season 5 is 100%. I think that's complete perfection. The entire series as a whole, I'm not like 95%. I'd say. And man, I can't believe the Breaking Bad universe has ended. That's another chapter ended. Can't wait to see what Vince Gilligan and the whole entire Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, El Camino teams do next. I believe they have a new show coming out pretty soon. I've heard Vince say and talk about, so I'm going to be excited for that. Whatever these guys do, I'm going to be there day one. And I think they should take on some other properties as well. I think I'm willing to see what Vince Gilligan could do with the MCU and possibly do with Star Wars as well. So I can't wait to see if they one day go to those properties as well.